The captivity storyline on The Young and the Restless has truly kept all the fans on edge. Phyllis and Sharon's kidnapping has already taken so many unpredictable turns. But what's next? Are there more twists to this storyline, or are they going to get their freedom back, putting an end to the captivity drama? Let's dive in to get more and every detail. Actress Michelle Stafford, who plays Phyllis on The Young and the Restless, is one of the most glamorous characters the soap ever had. Whatever happens, she has always been flawless with her effortless dressing sense and top-notch makeup. However, for the latest storyline, she seemed to have taken in a new look. Recently, Stafford took to her Instagram account and talked about how she has been all natural for the captivity storyline she is a part of. She posted a picture of herself from a scene and talked about how she decided to go real for this storyline. She did insist that she might regret it later, but that is what it is. Taking onto the comment sections, fans and co-stars lauded her for this decision. While we are in awe of the powerhouse this person is, what really caught our eyes was the hashtag she used under her post, which was #2moreweeks_togo. Does it mean the whole captivity drama is going to end in 2 weeks? Well, this is what it seems to be, or is there something more to it? We will find out in some time. The Young and the Restless. What's next for Phyllis? Now, since it looks like the storyline is coming to a close, it raises a big question. What's next? If Sharon and Phyllis finally attain their freedom back, what will come their way next, especially for Phyllis? Well, we have some opinions. It is very possible that Sharon and Phyllis can shake their hands and start as fresh. This whole situation might have taught them how to be cordial with each other. Another possibility is that Phyllis might become more vengeful. We all know that Phyllis is an unpredictable character, so we cannot put it beside her that she might go into a worse state. Another possibility is also that instead of all these, she might try to focus on love life. Right before the kidnapping, Phyllis had a romantic dream about Billy Abbott. Maybe once she is done with this captor drama, she can finally progress with her feelings. Hey everyone, welcome back to Radiant Serum. I'm Aubrey, and I hope your day is shining bright. Thank you for joining me. Let's jump right into today's video. Everyone knows how complex relationships are on The Young and the Restless. Genoa City never falls short of drama and excitement when it comes to love stories. Do we sense a scandalous cheating storyline in the near future? Who is it about now? To know the answer, keep scrolling down. Yes, Claire Newman and Kyle Abbott seem to be having trouble in their almost perfect relationship. Summer, Kyle's ex-wife, seems to be causing tension between the couple as she tries to get Kyle's attention. In the most recent episode of The Young and the Restless, Summer ruined Claire and Kyle's date plans by engaging Kyle elsewhere. As for Claire, she is quite upset as she sits all alone at the GCAC bar. It seems the couple is going through a rough patch, and they might end up doing something fans are already suspecting. It looks like these smaller issues can very easily become something huge. Would Claire and Kyle end up breaking up or worse, cheating? What happens next? Given how the storyline is moving forward, Claire is feeling ignored and resentful, whereas Kyle seems to be in a tug-of-war between his past and present. Given how the situation is, fans have their opinions on what could happen there. While some fans are rooting for Claire and Kyle to be together, others feel that Summer's plan of getting back with Kyle might work, and he will leave Claire for her. Some fans are also of the opinion that it is quite possible that Claire might end up cheating on Kyle with Holden. She might do something in her weak moment, as she is feeling neglected. Fans have already started shipping Holden and Claire together, as they seem to like their chemistry. At the club, Kyle and Claire talk about Jack and Diane. He teases that they still have their differences, like which James Bond movie they'll watch. Kyle learns Claire has never seen them and explains that Bond drinks martinis. He pours them champagne, and she asks what they're celebrating. Just then, Summer walks in and tells Kyle they need to talk. It's about Harrison. Looking peeved, Claire offers to step aside so they can talk. Summer tells Kyle that she's concerned what Harrison will hear about her mother at school. She's really missing, and there are cops' children in his class. He's already had questions because he was supposed to play ping pong with Phyllis yesterday. This thought makes Kyle smile. He assures Summer she's not being overprotective. Summer thinks they need to prepare him. They need to talk to their son tonight. Summer knows her mom can take care of herself, but this is driving her crazy and she's trying to focus on the things she can control. Kyle argues that they shouldn't interrupt their son's movie night with his parents, but Summer worries that if he hears about Phyllis going missing, he'll flash back to when Jordan kidnapped him and feel afraid. Do they want that for even a moment? Kyle concedes that she's right. Summer's sorry she interrupted his romantic dinner. Kyle stands. They'll go up and talk to Harrison, who will always come first. Claire returns and asks if they need more time. Kyle is sorry, but Summer made him realize they need to talk to Harrison about Phyllis. Claire understands. Kyle asks her to wait for him. Summer doesn't want to rush their talk with Harrison. Claire tells Kyle to take all the time he needs and kisses him. She'll wait at the bar. Once there, she orders a martini. Nick joins Victoria at Society and thanks her for meeting him. They talk about Sharon and Phyllis going missing. Victoria says it's so unlike Phyllis to stay off the radar, and remarks on neither of them calling him back. Nick's not sure what to think. Victor sighs that it's been quite a year for their family. Nick admits it's getting harder and harder to stay positive. She says they have to lean on each other and stay strong for their kids. That's what Sharon and Phyllis would want him to do. Nick thinks his sister is right about the kids. No matter how old they are, they pick up on stuff. Victoria muses about them always managing to put on a brave face. Nick says he was talking to Billy about that earlier. He shares that he stopped by earlier to discuss Phyllis. Victoria says they're both great fathers. They have that in common. She tells Nick he doesn't always have to be so strong. Nick admits it would be nice if there was a day when things didn't fall apart and he didn't have to worry. Victoria thinks that's coming. She points out Victor's recovering, Nikki's sober, and Claire is finally rid of Jordan. She's sure Phyllis and Sharon will reach out soon. Nick hopes she's right, but he has a sinking feeling they're in real danger. In the abandoned mental hospital, Phyllis cries out. She's in pain and feels like she drank battery acid. Sharon coaxes her to drink the bottle with the sticker. They realize Phyllis' pulse is racing. Sharon's sure that she was poisoned by water. When she drinks the one with the sticker, it will be the end. Phyllis is unconvinced. Sharon reminds her it's a game. Phyllis questions if it's just game over for her. Sharon calls out to the voice to ask if she got the riddle correct. Phyllis trusts her less than she does the voice, who needs to answer right now. Phyllis continues to agonize on the sofa and yells as Sharon continues trying to convince her to drink the antidote. They get to discussing Sharon poisoning Daniel's whiskey. Sharon reminds her she accused her of trying to run her off the road. You were wrong about me then, and you are wrong about me now. She hands her the water bottle. Phyllis still won't drink. Sharon can't force her. This is your call. Phyllis finally tells her to give her the bottle. Whether it kills her or not, at least she won't have to listen to her self-righteous voice anymore. Shut up. She drinks and they wait. At Society, Nick doesn't know what to tell his kids. They don't know that Sharon and Phyllis are in trouble, and that's the truth. He can lie to the kids. Victoria guesses he can't lie to himself. I can tell from the look on your face that you're 100% convinced that Sharon and Phyllis need your help, aren't you? Daniel appears. He's with him on that. He's telling Lucy everything's fine, but tries to tell himself that and he just can't buy it. Nick admits it's getting harder and harder to explain why they've gone AWOL for so long. Daniel worries they'll never see Sharon or his mother again. Daniel has been in constant contact with Chance, and the Force has come up with absolutely nothing. Now Summer's freaking out and Lucy's asking why her grandmother isn't texting her back. He can't send her on tour with Danny again without tipping her off. Victoria suggests Lucy come out to the ranch. Daniel appreciates that. Nick is telling Daniel they both have a lot of questions, but no answers when Chance walks in. He's glad they're both there. He has news about Sharon and Phyllis. They now have evidence that they need to be found. They have footage of a windowless white van driving around the corner they last saw Phyllis on footage. Similarly, the same van was caught on camera, leaving the Cassidy First parking lot, where Sharon's car was left behind. Since then, there's been no sign of Phyllis or Sharon. In the mental institution, Phyllis is still alive but feels her stomach is full of fish hooks being pulled out. Sharon urges her to drink the rest of the bottle of water. Phyllis does, and then throws it. Sharon wants her to get up and move around. Phyllis asks if she's trying to make her vomit. Sharon thinks it will get the antidote into her system faster and to help her. She hoists her to her feet and drags her around in a couple of circles. Phyllis has to go back to the sofa. She's too weak, but she feels like the pain is fading. Sharon tells Phyllis they passed the test. Phyllis isn't brimming with optimism. Sharon points out they should celebrate that she didn't die. Phyllis complains about being held captive by a psychotic game show host. She hollers that if he lets them go, she promises not to rip his eyes out when she sees him. Sharon says they won. Phyllis asks, "What about next round?" The buzzer sounds loudly, and the voice congratulates Sharon, who rants about him physically hurting one of them. "Can we at least play nice?" The buzzer blares. Sharon says, "They wanted me to save you. This was a part of the game." She could just as easily have been the one who drank the tainted water. It could have been her writhing on the floor. She wonders, if it had been her, would you have saved me? Sharon doesn't believe Phyllis would stand idly by while she died, even though she hates her. Phyllis muses, "Maybe I wouldn't have unraveled the riddle." "Clearly, I'm not as smart as you, Sharon." Sharon tells her if this is how she wants to play it. If hating her is the distraction she needs right now, she's good with that. Sharon recaps that they still hate each other, but she's glad Phyllis is Oak. For the record, she believes if the tables were turned, she'd have done the same thing. They debate whether Sharon saving her life goes toward earning Phyllis forgiveness. The redhead knows she wants to talk, but she's exhausted after what her body has gone through. She can't get off the couch. Sharon urges her to rest. She'll watch over her. Phyllis whispers, "Thank you. Thank you for saving my life." Sharon replies, "You're welcome." At the club bar, Claire sips her martini as Holden comes in. They get to talking about a variation on the beverage, and Holden orders 2 Vespers so she can try one. Claire tastes it. She likes it better than the classic martini. They keep talking as he educates her. He teases, they say, "Pick your poison. This is mine." She muses, "Maybe mine too." He learns she hasn't seen the Bond movies, but think Daniel Craig is sexy. Holden brings up his friend who is into old books. They introduce themselves and toast as Kyle and Summer return. Summer muses, "It looks like Claire has made a new friend." Kyle butts in between Holden and Claire and updates her on their chat with Harrison. Summer says goodnight and smiles as she walks away. Kyle asks Claire, "Is that a martini?" She says it's actually a Vesper. "This gentleman introduced me to them." Holden nods. Back at their table, Kyle apologizes again to Claire for the interruption. Summer puts on a strong front, but I can tell she's really scared about her mom. Claire's not threatened by her. Kyle asks if that's liquid courage. Claire asks if she needs it. Kyle reassures her. Claire decides she might have another drink. It's hard to tell how hard it's hitting. She's always a little lightheaded around him. Nick remains hopeful as Sharon fears the worst. At Society, Nick tells Daniel, Victoria, and Chance that now that they have a lead on Sharon and Phyllis, they're going to bring them home. In the mental hospital, Sharon covers Phyllis as she sleeps. The voice tells her, "Well done, Sharon. You're one step closer to liberation. Sharon asks what the hell that means. Why does it matter so much to him that she and Phyllis reconcile? What's in it for you? The voice says it's an accomplishment. He denies that it's personal. Think of this as an experiment and nothing more. Sharon cries, "We're lab rats." She wants to know if they'll be set free if they win. Or do you have something else in mind? The voice tells her to rest. Tomorrow will be a busy day for the two of them. He blares the loud buzzer. Sharon screams in frustration. Phyllis wakes up and the blonde tells her, "I don't think we're getting out of here anytime soon." TV Insider was the first to report that Flynn will exit Davis and join Y and R. In a statement to TV Insider, Flynn shared, "I am grateful for my years at Davis. It changed my life in the best ways. I've always said these stories we tell are like doing a play, and I've spent the last 10+ years playing this amazing character and telling one of the all-time great love stories. And now I'm excited for this opportunity and to test myself in a new way." Flynn joined Daywise in 2014 as Chad DeMera, a role he took over from its originator, Casey Dedrick. It was only last September that Flynn celebrated his 10-year anniversary on Days. As for Flynn joining Y and R, the soap's executive producer/head writer Josh Griffith, who previously wrote for Days from 2015 to 2016, told TV Insider, "On behalf of the entire company of The Young and the Restless, we look forward to welcoming Billy to the show. He will be a wonderful addition to Y and R's stellar cast." While Flynn's reportedly set to debut later this spring in his new role, because of Days' unique production schedule, he'll continue to air as Chad DeMera well into 2026. Claire and Holden shared a martini and some banter on the March 11 episode of The Young and the Restless. In real life, people meet random people every day, and it doesn't mean anything. In a soap opera, everything means something. So what does Holden mean by being so attentive to Claire? We think we know, and it's not the obvious. The obvious assumption is that Claire and Holden are being set up as a new couple. Kyle certainly reacted like he thought it might be a possibility. Holden was certainly being flirty. Even Claire was being flirty, and she claims to have been so sheltered that she never even saw a James Bond movie. Kyle is the first guy she slept with, so of course she thinks she's in love with him. But Kyle is a whiny, petulant, spoiled child. Harrison is more mature. Holden is a grown-up, and a natural next step up. Summer sure did look excited to show Kyle Claire's new friend. Made us wonder if she might have had something to do with it. Holden kept his past relationship with Audra a secret for weeks. Why not one with Summer too? Maybe they are also old friends, and she asked him to do her a little favor. But we all know that, in the end, it'll be Victor's doing. Everything in the end is required to be Victor's doing by Geno City law. He said he would break up Claire and Kyle, and here is step 1 in his mission to do so. He looked around and saw the handful of men in Genoa City who weren't related to Claire and weren't abbots, and his all-knowing gaze settled on Holden. "You, young man, yes you, the one sitting there, wondering what you might do to please the great Victor Newman. Sure, we haven't met before, but we have now, and here's what you're going to do for me. You're welcome." Is this the clue Chance needs to find Sharon and Phyllis? The Young and the Restless recap for Tuesday, March 11, sees Summer demand Kyle's attention, while Claire meets Holden and tries a new drink. Plus, Chance gives Nick and Daniel an update on Phyllis and Sharon, while Sharon and Phyllis move one step forward in their Cactors game. Kyle and Claire went to the Geno City Athletic Club for dinner. They talked about how his parents had been arguing over the best James Bond. Claire admitted she had never seen a Bond movie or had a martini. As they kissed, Summer arrived, asking to speak with Kyle. He didn't want to, but she insisted it was important. Claire understood and walked away. Summer told Kyle she was worried that Harrison might hear about Phyllis' disappearance. Phyllis had promised to teach him ping pong the day before, and since Harrison had experienced an abduction himself, this news could be particularly upsetting. She insisted they had to talk to him that night. Kyle didn't see the urgency, but Summer refused to back down. Apologizing for ruining his evening, she convinced him to speak with Harrison upstairs. Claire returned and jokingly said she felt like she was interrupting. Kyle explained that they needed to talk to Harrison about Phyllis possibly being kidnapped. Claire understood and agreed to wait for him, but Summer suggested rescheduling. Claire offered to wait at the bar, which annoyed Summer. At the bar, Claire ordered a martini and found it strong. Holden sat beside her and talked about martinis and Vespers before ordering them both the latter. She liked it better, and as they chatted, Holden revealed he was a Daniel Craig fan, but preferred the Bond books to the movies. He admitted his best friend teased him for only liking 19th century French fiction. As Holden and Claire introduced themselves, Summer and Kyle returned and noticed them. Summer remarked that Claire had made a new friend. Kyle updated Claire on Harrison, and Summer thanked him before heading upstairs. Kyle was surprised to see Claire drinking, and she explained that Holden had introduced her to Vespers. Claire and Kyle returned to their table where he apologized. She told him she wasn't threatened by Summer. Finishing her drink, she admitted she couldn't tell if the alcohol or Kyle was making her feel lightheaded. To the Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, March 12, find Sharon and Phyllis finally having enough and turning the tables on their captor. First, Sharon and Phyllis fought among themselves. Then, they tried to make peace. Then, they fought so much more. Even when the clues they were given said forgiveness. Phyllis was like, "Nah, I'd rather screech and yell and play victim, even though I'm not the one you did something to." Now they, like Sinead O'Connor back in the day, have decided to fight the real enemy, which is whoever is keeping them prisoner. They come up with a plan together. Will they be able to execute it together, or will it be back to every woman for herself? Summer is sad. We've lost count of why. Kyle, Claire, Phyllis, Daniel, work. In any case, Chance is there to make her feel better. Will Chance just pat her on the head? Offer her a shoulder to cry on? Suggest they start dating again? Break things off once and for all so she no longer has that to worry about. We're so confused about where their relationship is at the moment that we have no idea which way this could go. Jack loves his sister, Tracy, and he's always happy to see her whenever she visits Genoa City from New York. But Jack has his hands so full currently with Diane and her redecorating, Kyle and his situation, Ashley and her uncertain mental health, and Victor and his threats, that he can't really spare much thought for Tracy. So she makes him listen because Tracy has something to say. Daniel's world turned upside down when Heather was brutally taken from him on Young and the Restless. Her death shattered his heart, left his daughter without a mother figure, and destroyed the foundation of his future. The trauma runs deep, and in true soap opera fashion, the road to healing will be anything but easy. Can Daniel ever move on from such a devastating loss? And if so, who will be the one to help him love again? Daniel's romantic history is as complicated as they come, but that's never stopped Genoa City's finest from finding new love in unexpected places. While it's hard to imagine him opening his heart so soon, we know romance is always just around the corner. With heartbreak often comes temptation, and Daniel is surrounded by potential love interests. Could he rekindle his romance with Lily? They share a deep history, undeniable chemistry, and a past filled with passion. If Daniel is looking for something safe and familiar, Lily might be the one to bring him back to life. Then there's Tessa. They've had flirty moments lately, and while she's happily married to Mariah, that's never stopped a soapy scandal before. Could Daniel's loneliness lead to a regrettable, steamy affair? Or maybe he'll go down a more reckless path with Audra. She's bold, she's unpredictable, and she has a knack for drawing men into dangerous situations. If Daniel is looking for a distraction rather than a deep connection, Audra might just be the one to shake things up. Maybe Daniel experiences a serious rewind of his romantic past and suddenly finds himself face to face with Daisy, the woman who birthed Lucy. Wouldn't that be a twist? Lucy has no idea who her biological mother is, so this could definitely dial up the family drama. Plus, Daisy is Sheila's daughter, so that could turn into a whole new set of problems. Of course, there's the possibility that Daniel simply shuts his heart off and keeps to himself for years to come. He could be the town's sad single widower who has a ton of friends, but never anything more than that. But alas, that would be a waste. Daniel is a lover, not a fighter, and on daytime, we need all the lovers we can get. Will Daniel take the leap and open his heart again? Or will his grief keep him locked away from love? Whether it's a rekindled romance, a scandalous affair, or a brand new connection, his future is bound to be filled with drama, and we can't wait to see what's waiting around the corner. The Young and the Restless stars Michelle Stafford and Sharon Case have been amazing during the kidnapping storyline. Phyllis and Sharon, held together in captivity, has brought drama, suspense, and a little humor to the show. With the story reaching its end soon, Stafford promises it won't be disappointing. Phyllis and Sharon being held captive is one of Y and R's top storylines. It's got plenty of mystery as fans wonder who the kidnapper is and their motive for kidnapping the women. Then there's drama and humor with Phyllis and Sharon's bickering. Although they're supposed to work together to escape, the longtime rivals can't resist throwing barbs at each other. Time is of the essence for the women as the kidnappers' games reach the end. Will Sharon and Phyllis escape in time, or will Nick and Chance come to their rescue? These are a few questions lingering as the storyline reaches its conclusion. According to Stafford and Case, it's going to be a grand finale. In an interview with Soaps.com, the actresses discussed filming the climax of the kidnapping story. It required both of them to pull off their best work. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease Summer Newman and Chance Chancellor are about to experience a tender moment together. But should she reconsider her intentions? Even Jack Abbott is starting to suspect that Summer's heart still belongs to Kyle Abbott. Summer admitted she wasn't sure about Chance. Summer openly confessed her uncertainty about ever rekindling her relationship with Chance. While she attributes her doubts to Chance's handling of Daniel Romalotti Jr.'s arrest, that reasoning seems flimsy at best. After all, Chance was merely fulfilling his duties, and Daniel himself appears to bear no ill will towards him. The underlying truth is likely tied to Summer's resurfacing feelings for Kyle, which seem to be consuming her thoughts. As she becomes more preoccupied with the idea of reviving their romance, it doesn't prevent her from seeking support from Chance in the March 12 episode of the show. Summer will allow Chance to comfort her during Phyllis Summer's difficult time, raising questions about whether this is truly fair to him. It appears that Summer might relish the attention from Chance, yet she clearly has no intention of reciprocating his feelings. Instead, she seems poised to lean on Chance for emotional support before shifting her focus back to her pursuit of Kyle. How long will it take for Chance to see that Summer isn't genuinely interested in him? Will he come to understand that her heart is still set on reuniting with Kyle? Regardless of the outcome, Chance is determined to be there for Summer, doing everything he can to provide her with comfort regarding Phyllis. Chance could have false hope. This moment could create a spark of false hope for Chance regarding their future, yet it appears that another chapter may not unfold. As a result, he could be disappointed. Instead, Summer is gearing up to fully commit to winning Kyle back and disrupting his relationship with Claire Newman, hopefully breaking them up. Our forecasts suggest that Chance will ultimately need to forge a new path for himself, but it seems Summer will keep him hanging on a bit longer. Upcoming spoilers indicate that Summer and Chance will share some moments of reconnection, even though her true intentions lie with Kyle. Keep an eye out for any romantic developments on the horizon, because they are definitely going to happen. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, March 11, imply some interesting moments in the land of Genoa City. One character causes trouble for a super couple, while another is single and ready to mingle, and someone has a tough choice to make. Time to dive in and see what kind of drama will unfold during Tuesday's show. Summer Newman stirs the pot. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, March 11 suggest that Summer Newman will cause trouble between Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman. The two were all set to go out on a date during the Friday, March 7 episode, and even organized babysitters for Harrison Abbott, as Jack Abbott and Diane Abbott offered. Still, Summer was lingering in the shadows at Crimson, while Kyle was on the phone with Claire, firming up plans. It sounds like Summer will pull some sort of stunt that may not only place an end to their date, but also cause the two to get into a disagreement. What does Summer do? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Holden Novak explores his options. Across town, it sounds like Holden Novak will explore some of his options in Genoa City. He's smitten with old friend Audra Charles, but it looks like he'll meet someone new during Tuesday's show. As Kyle will either cut his date with Claire short or cancel entirely, she'll become a new acquaintance of Holden's after the episode is through. The preview for March 10 to 14 shows Claire alone at the GZAC bar when Holden comes along to chat. Will these two experience some sparks? Should Kyle be worried? Phyllis Summers' tough decision. Lastly, Phyllis Summers will have a tough decision ahead of her. Will she trust Sharon Newman's riddle-solving skills and drink the water antidote or not? As fans know, Phyllis was poisoned during Monday's show, and Sharon believed that the antidote was in a special marked water bottle. Will Phyllis choose to trust Sharon or go her own way? The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, March 12, 2025, are here. In tomorrow's episode, fans can expect the kidnapping victims to take control. Chance Chancellor comforts Summer Newman. Meanwhile, Tracy Abbott shares surprising news with Jack Abbott. Mysterious villains experiment. On Wednesday, March 12, fans will see Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers reel over the captor's experiment. Phyllis was asleep after getting the antidote to the poison. While Phyllis was passed out, Sharon spoke with the mysterious captor over the speaker. All the kidnapper would say is that it wasn't personal, just an experiment and nothing more. That made Sharon realize they were in real trouble and might never get out of there. After Sharon's screaming woke up Phyllis, the poisoning victim learned the latest update. Sharon has stayed calm during most of this ordeal. However, that was because Sharon had to believe there was hope of them getting out of there. With this new revelation that they are just lab rats, Sharon and Phyllis take control somehow. While Phyllis and Sharon are in a desperate situation, their control doesn't last long. Later in the week, the two women fall into a trap. It seems their only hope is that the stolen van can be found. The van has to be close to the abandoned mental health facility. Chance Chancellor's comfort. The Young and the Restless spoilers for tomorrow reveal that as more time passes by, Summer gets more worried that something terrible has happened. Chance is doing everything he can to find Phyllis and Sharon. However, there isn't a whole lot to go on right now except a stolen white van with no windows. While Summer panics about her mother, she will get comfort in Chance's arms. Chance will do his best to reassure Summer. However, Chance knows that the more time that passes, the less likely the victims are to be found alive, if they are found at all. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease the shocking truth behind the kidnapping is set to take a dark turn as the identity of the captor comes to light. Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers will be left reeling when they discover who has been keeping them prisoner, but who could it possibly be? Dead or undead, which is it? Ian Ward appears to have defied death, as evidenced by his eyes fluttering open and a gasp escaping his lips in the ambulance. Although the morgue reported his cremation, it's possible he managed to persuade someone to assist him in maintaining the illusion of his own death. Yet, if he were truly lurking in the shadows seeking vengeance, wouldn't his sights be set on Victor Newman for his earlier attempt on Ian's life? Given that Ian was in the process of recovering from a life-threatening injury, it seems unlikely that he's the one behind the chaos. Although it doesn't mean he's not still alive somewhere recovering, it's doubtful that he's the one who kidnapped Phyllis and Sharon. Billy Abbott provides a clue about another madman. This leads us to an intriguing hint that Billy Abbott will reveal in the episode airing on March 10. After dismissing Ian as a suspect, Billy starts to entertain the idea that a different madman could be behind the chaos. If he's onto something, it suggests that the person holding Phyllis and Sharon captive might be an insane male figure. The two women are trapped in an old psychiatric institution called Havenhurst. Initially, Sharon speculated that their captor could be a former doctor or patient from the facility. Let's delve into the patient theory and consider the unsettling possibility that the individual orchestrating this nightmare is indeed mentally unstable. Alan Laurent has surfaced in Genoa City with Tracy Abbott, or is it Martin Laurent? When Alan Laurent first crossed paths with Sharon, he casually mentioned his involvement in a psychological study and expressed a desire to interview her. He was in the process of writing a book, which is an important detail to consider. Given the circumstances, it might be time to reconsider the notion that Alan is who he claims to be. What if Martin Laurent, the twin who supposedly didn't survive the tragic balcony fall in France, has been living under the guise of Alan all this time? We can't overlook the moment when Alan entered the Abbott mansion alongside Tracy Abbott and behaved as if he were a complete stranger to the place. Martin was the one who lived, Alan the one who died. Viewers will remember the two identical twins struggling and falling from a high balcony, the troubled twin Martin having died, or did he? Granted, it would have taken some doing to switch clothing with a dead twin on top of him, so Martin would appear to be Alan. The reason Martin didn't recognize the Abbott house is because he'd never been there, unlike Alan, who'd been a friend of Ashley Abbott's. Having worked for Alan in the past, he had transcribed notes from their sessions, which fueled his belief that he could perform Alan's role even more effectively. When the opportunity arose, Martin decided to impersonate Alan and engage with Ashley Abbott, pushing the boundaries of his hypnosis techniques to the limit. Experimental therapy being done on two rival captives? Let's delve into the peculiar predicament of Sharon and Phyllis. Doesn't it seem like a bizarre, extreme version of therapy? It's as if the orchestrator believes they're providing help, while in reality, they're crafting a living nightmare. In the episode airing on March 10, Sharon will ponder the unsettling notion that someone wants them to recognize their own brilliance through the enigma and theatrics surrounding their situation. This adds another layer to the mystery that aligns perfectly with Martin. Given that Alan was conducting research for a book and sought to speak with Sharon, it's plausible that Martin dug deep into her past with Phyllis. More fuel to the theory that Martin is the captor. After all, it would require significant investigation to uncover the specific song that played during the event where their confrontation occurred. It's unlikely that anyone could recall this information spontaneously, suggesting that the individual orchestrating these events doesn't need to have an intimate knowledge of Sharon and Phyllis. What matters is their willingness to delve into the details now. Let's revisit the clues to gain a clearer understanding of the situation. The abductor might be a former psychiatric patient who has coerced Phyllis and Sharon into a twisted game resembling a warped therapy session. It's entirely plausible that Martin is the mastermind behind this, aiming to demonstrate that his radical techniques can yield results. And just think, Ellen returns to Genoa City with Tracy this week. A little too conveniently, Alan makes his return to the screen during the week of March 10 to 14. It appears he's ready to pop the question to Tracy Abbott in the latest preview. The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Damian Kane is very private. He also has a fierce temper, as his friend and now employee, Holden Novak, told Audra Charles. Damian couldn't believe what he saw. Holden was chatting up Audra. Rivers was angered that Owen's character was becoming involved with an ex-girlfriend. Audra told her current boyfriend, Nate Hastings, that Holden was an acquaintance. Nate initially accepted that answer but was leery. Dining at the Geno City Athletic Club, Nate's lunch with his brother couldn't have gone better. Nate hoped this would come true as Damian opened up to his mother, Amy Lewis. Damian was pleased to hear that the breakthrough he and Amy had influenced her decision to accept Nate's help. He connected Amy with an oncologist, and that meeting went well. The subsequent trip Amy took with the doctor to Chicago, Illinois, will hopefully lead to real progress. Amy now wants as much extra time as she can have with her son. Their reconciliation could help heal her and provide Damian with needed solace. The subject header isn't news, but what's intriguing is that Audra might not be over him. Why else agree to another lunch when he returns from Los Angeles, California? It's fair to believe that Audra thinks she can manage Holden. Yet that seems hard to imagine because he's clearly never gotten her out of his system. Nate's recognition of the lingering chemistry between Audra and Holden spells trouble on multiple fronts. Damian is working to try and stop this problem from growing by sending his employee back to lay. Meanwhile, viewers likely feel they haven't seen the last of Holden. A triangle exists or could form between Nate, Audra, and Holden, but that could lead to the end of Holden's employment with Damian. However, Holden's inability to restrain himself when Audra is concerned implies that he will choose a chance to be with her again versus maintaining his job with Damian. If so, viewers can speculate about the potential employment opportunities Holden might have among those who want to use him as an information source. Amy Lewis is a good soul. The Me made a mistake by becoming involved with Nathan Hastings. She could never bring herself to tell her late husband or Damian the truth. So Damian grew up believing that the man who was his mother's husband was naturally his father. He also mistakenly concluded that she shut down when his father was dying. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.